And we're back here in Inside the Ropes, joined by the one and only real American himself. So it's the real American.
No, no one likes Americans, so just one American.
So was it not just the one American because Hogan was the real American? Was that the reason behind just let's add a second American in there?
It just rolled off my tongue. I'm known for not being a good speaker, but that was one word that I could say very easily, if I could say that. And it's just one of those fun things. I think it went with the kind of the cockiness of the character too. Just American. And then once Dirty Dutch came involved and Antonio Cesaro, it was just the real American. That's when we became serious Americans.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about was, obviously NXT is like a big thing right now, but when you were in ECW, WWE's version of ECW, like a lot of fans kind of like shit on that as a concept. Like, why did they bring ECW back? 'Cause it wasn't the real ECW. But towards the end, you were a part of it when it was kind of like a developmental, right? For you and Sheamus and other guys who would be on that brand first. Did you enjoy being a part of that brand, or would you rather have gone straight to Raw or SmackDown? How did you feel about your experience there?
I was very fortunate to go to ECW. I had guys like Tommy Dreamer, guys like Fit Finlay, guys like Christian, Matt Hardy. I was very green to the business at the time, so for me to go there and to have friends like that to not only help me with the matches, but also backstage and kind of show me the ropes, so to say. So it was, like seeing Colt Cabana's ass, like right in your face. It was like a shining light, and they turned it on for me. They turned on Colt Cabana's ass for me, and it's not easily done to turn on his ass. It just happens sometimes. It just gets turned on, and then all of a sudden you have to take that ass, and you have to use it. You have to make an opportunity from it, and not to make jokes of Tommy or Fit or Christian or Jay, but like they really showed me the ass and like showed me like this is what you have to protect, not where to go, the butthole.
Yep, right, got it.
Squeeze the cheeks on the way up, type deal. Find out if the juice is worth the lot. No.
I never saw this going in this direction.
No, I just kind of went with it, but I was very fortunate, and I was very glad they did it that way, and I think it really helped.
And you can see that the reason that Colt Cabana's ass came up, but I don't know if that's the right word. I don't want to infringe upon anything here.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see anything. It's just you and me in here.
Okay, sure. It's really difficult to move on from that.
But, it was a storyline for Teddy Long to bring in the new developmental, but it was also a way for WWE to put their stamp on ECW and take it away from what it was.
So I have a theory, and I want you to either dismiss it or make it, or tell me I'm right. So at WrestleMania 26, you were in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yes, sir.
Now, I was at the Access that weekend, and I met you the day before.
I'm not scared of heights. Is that your theory?
No.
Okay.
So when you were at Access, because they do the changeover after 2 hours, and it's like, okay, so we've got Sheamus, now we've got Swagger. Like, you looked depressed that day at Access. This was like the Saturday of that weekend. So I have this theory that you got there on Sunday, and they were like, we're going to give you the briefcase tonight. And like the day before, you went, oh, for fuck's sake, like I'm just going to be in this match. So did you find out on the day that you were going to win the briefcase, or did you know before?
I knew before.
Oh, fuck, my theory's gone. Oh, well, you looked miserable at Access anyway, but like, so let's talk about WrestleMania 26.
Well, one of those things about Access, it's a great way to meet the fans, but it's not much of an experience for the fans, and it's not much of an experience for us. One of the things I really enjoy outside of there is it's more personal, everything's more intimate, and you actually get to have an experience, and I get to meet my fans. It's
not like the over-the-table photograph that you have to do. That's like
No. There it's sit here for 2 hours and you have to do it type deal, which I feel like anybody in that situation would be like that. But, maybe just meeting you makes me miserable.
That's very possible. I've heard this before a couple of times. But at WrestleMania 26, you get to win the Money in the Bank match. And this was the Money in the Bank match was still quite new at the time. It'd only been around for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you were probably the first guy who was really young and new to get the briefcase at that point. Because they'd given it before to guys I think they'd given it. Did they give it to Rey Mysterio after you, or that was the same year? But
Ray beat me for the world title after I won it. It was definitely. It's such an exciting match. It's still one of my favorite matches on any card. Just something to do. Will always attract my attention. As far as being one of the first young guys, I think like Punk had already won it twice though before me. So
I mean, as in like, so you've been on the main roster for like 6 months or 9 months, and then you get this big opportunity. Did you feel when you got it like because then you cash in on the SmackDown right after WrestleMania?
Came on the roster in 2008. This was 2010. 6 months.
I meant on SmackDown, not to disparage the ECW time, but like, did you enjoy the experience of winning and cashing in straight away? Because it was such a like big moment. Because in Vegas at SmackDown, people were going insane, and Jericho's shoe goes off as well. It was such a big moment.
Well, first of all, can we put up a disclaimer for Jericho's shoe? If anybody has found that, please send that to Chris. You can find him on his Twitter account. We've been looking for that shoe ever since. It was very expensive. It had lights on it. He was ahead of his time. No, it was an awesome experience. My wife and I were planning to go to Vegas after Mania for like a little vacation because we're in Phoenix anyways. And we already had the plane ticket to go there on Tuesday after Raw. Raw was back in Phoenix, and I got the call Monday night like, "Hey, you need to, go to Vegas." I'm like, "I'm already going there." Perfect. So, got there, checked in the wife. We had a little lunch, took her to the hotel, and then I went up to do the taping. Had a meeting with Chris and Vince about the whole deal. I still thank Chris to this day. At that meeting, because this is Chris, he's like, "You better not fuck this up."
I was there in the building. It was great in person. It was a great moment, and
they made me look like $1 million. Him and Edge, and then what a highlight. I will always be world champion. That's something I'll take with me ever.
And like, is that moment for like, so, you get to WWE, I think you signed in like 06 and you were in developmental and you're in ECW, and that kind of journey to get to that point and you win the world title, was that like a really special moment for you?
Absolutely. I mean, the names of people who have won that title, like, make it special. Like, it's very cool. Like, at the time, one of the biggest titles in the world, and so to be on that list, it's very humbling. It's an honor. It was great. I actually took the title back to the hotel and proposed to my wife after I won it. 7 years ago. Last time I won a title, 7 years.
I'm sure it's not going to be the last. So we're going to just do some kind of quick questions here because we might be doing more in the future that people might get to hear about. But for now, like, you did the thing in 2013 where you're paired up with Dutch, you're paired up with Uncle Zeb, and you guys do the We the People, and it was very like controversial at the beginning, and you're going into WrestleMania with Alberto. What was it like for you doing a storyline where you kind of?
See buddy. He was in the room.
What was it like to be part of this, new hot storyline, and it picks up like mainstream traction?
Very exciting, very cool, very new. It was. We kind of knew before we did it, like it was gonna get some traction, but we didn't know to that extent, and it ended up being very topical, politically, socially, and to be a part of it and kind of have a voice in it. That's very, it's cool. It's special is what I'm trying to say. And for that to happen, you can't really force those type of things. They just kind of come together and they happen, and that's what I think about when I think about We the People. It came together at the right time, the right moment. We got connected with Zeb Colter, Dirty Dutch Mantel. Thank you. Which, riding with him for 2 years, that's also one of the greatest honors of my career, to learn from that man sitting next to him, like a brother and a friend to me. So it was cool how it started real political, and slowly over time, Antonio joined us, and it became a little more acceptable, and then sooner or later, everybody was saying, "We the People," very loud, and once that happens, and this is what I love about professional wrestling, is the audience is part of the show, and they take what they like. And We the People isn't mine anymore. The people have officially taken it, because whether I go in America or whether I come here to Scotland, go to UK, go to France, well, maybe not France, but they'll say it. It's because everybody is We the People. It's
universal.
It's universal. It moved from a political movement to actually the people, and now you see politicians all the time trying to rip it off and say that they're the people. They're not the people.
And very quickly, I thought that one of the highlights of your WWE career from a fan's perspective was the stuff that you did with Rusev in 2014 when you kind of were the kind of American patriot babyface guy, and people really got behind you with that Rusev storyline. Is that something that you expected, that when you did turn and you did that kind of stuff, that people would get behind it so well?
That was also one of those like natural things and a very big moment in my career that we kind of knew it was going to be big, but we didn't think they were going to get behind it as much as they did. I mean, to be a heel for 7+ years and then turn babyface overnight, I mean, you can't. It's very difficult to do. Like, people have to accept you. They have to like it. They have to want to see it. A lot of things go into like being someone that they care about. You know, you have to make them care about you, and it's way tougher than being a heel or a bad guy. And man, that was such a cool moment when we came out and interrupted them. I get goosebumps now just thinking about it. One of my favorite matches in my career.
And just lastly, the last thing I want to ask you is, obviously you asked for your release earlier on this year from WWE. They drafted you to SmackDown for a little bit, but what made you decide, right, I'm going to take my release and go elsewhere?
You know, it was one of those things where business-wise, we had just come to a point and where I felt like my brand wasn't growing, even though I'm working twice as hard 10 years later to grow it. And so I think if you think about it that way, take the emotion out of it, it makes it easier to understand that it was just time for a change. Nothing against them, but I needed a change. I was very fortunate to come there right out of college, so I was very lucky, very blessed to have the career I had there. But I'm ready to learn other sides of pro wrestling. I'm ready to cross over into other mediums. I'm ready to maybe consider getting in the octagon and fight. I feel like the exposure I have, it could be very opportunistic. So I feel now I have control of my brand, and I'm growing it the way I want to grow it. And, you know, be careful what you wish for. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm very optimistic and excited about the future. I think this is a great time to be a pro wrestler.
So you never know where you're going to see him next, but where can people get you on Twitter if they want to find out where you are coming next with the Guns?
At thegunshow.dick. No, Real Jack Swagger on Twitter, Real Jack Swagger on Instagram. You can buy all Jack Swagger merch at lfrlife.com. Let's fucking rage! I'm sorry if I said that goofy. I'm goofy. Let me take two. We'll use take two for this. Let's fucking rage! See, that was kind of meatheadish. Give it a try. Let me see what you got.
Okay. Let's fucking rage!
Hey, man. Great job tonight. Let's fucking rage!
So we're going to rage tonight, and we're going to see Colt Cabana's ass again and have a good time.